What if everything you believe about yourself is an illusion? The Buddha taught that our sense of self, the I we cherish so deeply, might be nothing more than a ghost in the machine, a story we tell ourselves to make sense of experience. In this exploration of emptiness, the most misunderstood yet profound teaching in Buddhism, we'll unroll 5 ancient scrolls of wisdom that could transform how you experience every moment of your life. Not as nihilism or meaninglessness, but as a doorway to freedom hiding in plain sight. What if the most profound wisdom isn't found in what exists, but in what doesn't? The ancient scrolls of emptiness await, each containing a doorway to liberation hidden in plain sight. Imagine a temple, not built of stone, but of questions, housing 5 scrolls that have survived the centuries, not through preservation, but through revelation, each appearing when the seeker is ready, each dissolving when its truth is absorbed. As we approach the first scroll, it begins to glow with an otherworldly light. Not the harsh illumination of certainty, but the gentle radiance of inquiry. It unrolls to reveal a person, perhaps it's you, dissolving into 5 flowing streams: form, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. We instinctively recoil. If there is no permanent self, then who am I? Who experiences this moment? The Buddha's original teaching of Anatta, no self, confronts our deepest assumption that there exists within us some unchanging essence or soul. The scroll whispers, you search for yourself as something solid, separate, contained. But look more closely. Where do you end and the world begins? Your body is constantly exchanging atoms with the air around you. Your thoughts arise from countless influences: language, culture, memory. Even your sense of being a unified observer is a process, not a thing. The scroll doesn't negate your existence, but invites you to see it as a river rather than a rock. The second scroll materializes, its edges blurring into the air around it. Here, Nagarjuna's wisdom unfolds, showing objects disassembling into their causes and conditions. A table becomes the tree it came from, the carpenter who shaped it, the concept of table in our minds. The Majjhimaka school's insight reveals that there does not exist anything that is not dependently arisen. Therefore, there does not exist anything that is not empty. Nothing stands alone. Everything depends on everything else. The scroll shows a world of relationships rather than things. The very existence of any object is contingent, provisional, a temporary gathering of factors rather than an independent entity with some intrinsic tableness or essential nature. Yet this emptiness of independent existence isn't absence, it's the very fullness of connection. The third scroll depicts consciousness and its objects as 2 sides of the same coin, inseparable, co-arising. Through the lens of the Yogachara school, we see that the division between subject and object is itself empty. The seer and the seen, the knower and the known, dissolve into a single flowing experience without division. Like the surface of an ocean and its waves, they cannot exist separately. This scroll shows a woman meditating. As her practice deepens, she notices that her awareness and what she's aware of aren't 2 separate things, but aspects of one integrated experience. The boundary between inner and outer blurs. She realizes that the supposed gap between herself and the world was created by thought, not by reality. In recognizing this, something shifts, not intellectually, but in the very structure of her perception. The fourth scroll reveals something unexpected: gold hidden within ordinary stone, lotus flowers rising from muddy waters. The Tathagatagarbha, or Buddha nature, shimmers within the very emptiness that seemed so threatening. The absence of fixed self now appears as the presence of limitless potential. This teaching gently reframes the previous scrolls. What seemed like negation is actually liberation. A man in conflict with his partner suddenly pauses, seeing beyond his fixed narrative of self and other. The absence of an unchanging me to defend allows compassion to flow naturally. His awareness expands to include both perspectives simultaneously. This isn't a conceptual understanding, but a lived experience of what the neurological studies indicate: the default mode network quieting, allowing a different way of being to emerge. The fifth scroll appears blank, yet somehow contains all the others. It teaches that even these profound insights about emptiness are themselves empty, fingers pointing at the moon, not the moon itself. Even the most sophisticated understanding of Sunyata is just another concept, another view to be released. The scroll reminds us that emptiness is not a position to hold, but a practice to embody. Between the scrolls, we witness moments of everyday transformation. A woman in conflict suddenly sees through her rigid identity. A man eating a meal realizes the interdependence of all things, the sunshine, rain, and soil in each bite. A meditator experiences consciousness without division. These aren't mystical achievements, but natural recognitions available in ordinary moments when we pause our habitual patterns of thought. In the quiet aftermath of exploring these 5 dimensions, we're left not with something to accumulate, but something to let go. These teachings on emptiness offer a radical invitation to release our grip on the fixed identities and rigid certainties that create our suffering. Contemporary therapists and conflict mediators have discovered what Buddhist practitioners have known for millennia. When we loosen our attachment to rigid views, something shifts. Research now confirms that practices centered on emptiness can significantly reduce anxiety and depression while enhancing overall life satisfaction. The understanding of interconnectedness that emerges doesn't lead to nihilism, but to a deeper compassion for ourselves, for others, for our shared environment. What might transform in your life if you recognize that the solid ground you believe yourself to be standing on is actually flowing water? The question doesn't demand an answer. It simply invites you into the living mystery that has awakened countless minds across thousands of years. A mystery that continues to unfold in the space between your thoughts, in the gap between your heartbeats, in the silence before your next breath.